The government will put only one residential site in Tsuen Wan for sale this quarter, but expresses optimism about meeting annual supply targets. Amid residents' frustration over government's advanced school suspension due to false weather alert, Chief Secretary Eric Chen defends the move as difficult but necessary precaution. And Foreign Minister Wang Yi meets with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio amid trade tension, paving the way for possible Xi-Trump summit. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Evelyn Bai. The government will put up only one residential plot in Tsuen Wan under the land sale program for sale this quarter, yielding a combined 4,950 flats, along with 6 other lands involving lease modifications. Development Secretary Bernadette Lin claimed the property market is gradually improving. Following last quarter's practice, only one government residential plot will be put up for tendering in the July to September quarter. Located at the junction of Wingshen Street and Texaco Road in Tsuen Wan, the 39,000 square meter site, comprising 940 square meters of welfare facilities, is expected to provide 780 units. Development Chief Bernadette Lin expressed optimism over the sales of the plot.
This is not a particularly large site, and it is relatively still small in scale and located in a mature urban area with good transport connections. So we think this kind of site will be of interest to the developers in the current climate of the property market.
Meanwhile, despite only 2 plots were put on sale in the first half of the year, the government is cautiously optimistic that the annual target of home supplies can be achieved.
If we take into account also the supply from the first quarter, together it will reach about 6,000 units, about 45% of our annual target for this year. So as a midterm anticipated outturn, I think it suggests that we are moving in a stable manner towards our annual target.
The observatory braced the city for a wild storm, but Hong Kongers were greeted with light rain and even sunny patches in parts of the city today. In response to parents' frustration over the government's decision to suspend all-day schools today, Chief Secretary Eric Chen defended the move as a difficult but necessary precaution to prioritize student safety. Kun Ting reports.
Chen, who chairs the steering committee on handling extreme weather, explained the suspension was an extreme case response, as the observatory warned that Tropical Cyclone Dennis's remnants could unleash torrential rains exceeding 390 millimeters, equivalent to 1/6 of the city's annual rainfall and its 5th highest daily record. However, only light showers occurred in the morning, sparking widespread public frustration. Chen acknowledged the deviation in prediction, but stressed the government's duty to act early. He stressed that when lives are at stake, it's better to be safe than sorry, adding that waiting for real-time forecasts risked stranding students and parents during commutes, especially with secondary wine registration underway. With the observatory cautioning that while typhoon paths are predictable, rain bands are ever-changing and volatile, making early forecasts prone to error. Chen said the committee prioritized the worst-case planning after recalling past incidents of citizens struggling in sudden storms. He emphasized that all departments have been mobilized for disaster preparedness so as to ensure enhanced safety for all citizens. Kun Ting, Cable News.
Meanwhile, the surprisingly nice weather failed to lift spirits for disappointed parents and students as graduation ceremonies were cancelled when the government called off classes yesterday. A weather expert explained that while the remnants of Dennis edged closer to Hong Kong this morning, the city was positioned between areas of severe thunderstorms, resulting in lighter than expected rainfall. Xiu Yun tells us more.
After heavy downpours yesterday, clear skies today defied the observatory's predictions, which had prompted the preemptive cancellation of classes. While some children enjoyed an unexpected day off, school administrators were less pleased. Educator and lawmaker Lawrence Tang explained that the class cancellations disrupted secondary school registration arrangements and preparations for the pre-secondary 1 Hong Kong attainment test scheduled for Tuesday. Many graduating students were also upset as their long-awaited last day celebrations were cancelled, while parents expressed frustration over taking additional time off work to attend rescheduled graduation ceremonies. Renowned Hong Kong meteorologist Leung Wing Mo explained that predicting extreme weather events remains highly challenging with current forecasting technology. He clarified that Hong Kong was affected only by the remnants of a tropical cyclone, not a fully formed typhoon, which led to unpredictable rain band distribution. By chance, Hong Kong was outside the range of these rain bands, Leung added. The observatory forecast more showers with occasional squally thunderstorms from overnight into early tomorrow morning. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The government gazetted the registration of same-sex partnerships bill today after working to balance the Court of Final Appeals decisions with the overall interests of Hong Kong. The bill aims to establish a registration system for same-sex partnerships, allowing those couples to receive legal recognition who tie the knot overseas. It is set to grant same-sex couples rights such as organ transplantation and the cremation of a partner's remains. The proposed application fee is $260, while the fee for cancelling a registration is set at $200. If a LGBTQ person fails to cancel a registration in Hong Kong within 6 months after divorcing overseas, they could face a penalty of up to $10,000, according to the proposal. A government spokesman reiterated that the registration system will not compromise the government's established position on upholding the monogamous and heterosexual marriage system. The gazetting followed the Court of Final Appeals ruling in September 2023, which set a 2-year deadline for the government to establish an alternative framework, a case initially brought out by LGBTQ activist Jamie Sham. The bill has sparked diverse opinions, with some lawmakers expressing concerns about its potential impact on traditional family values in the city. The bill will be introduced to the Legislative Council for first reading next Wednesday. Foreign Minister Wang Yi and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a closed-door meeting in Malaysia this afternoon, marking the highest-level face-to-face talks between the two powers amid simmering tension over U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff offensive. Kun Ting-ya reports.
The hour-long meeting began at around 3 p.m. local time in Kuala Lumpur during ASEAN foreign ministers' gatherings, with no public remarks or handshakes before cameras. This was the first in-person meeting between Wang and Rubio, who assumed office as America's top diplomat this year and is known for his hawkish stance toward Beijing. The talks occurred against a backdrop of heightened tensions, driven by U.S. tariffs targeting over 20 Asian economies, set to take effect August 1st unless new trade deals are reached. Ahead of the meeting, Wang blasted the U.S. measures as typical unilateral bullying that no country would endorse or support, vowing countermeasures while positioning China as a defender of ASEAN interests. Rubio, on his inaugural Asian tour as secretary, had also previewed plans to raise concerns over China's alleged support for Russia in its war with Ukraine, though details of their discussions remain undisclosed. Analysts say their topics could also cover Taiwan and South China Sea disputes, where both nations remain sharply divided. Meanwhile, the meeting could also pave the way for a Trump-Xi summit, following a June phone call where the Chinese and U.S. leaders exchanged invitations to visit. U.S. officials are reportedly arranging a potential trip by Trump to China later this year. Kun Ting-ya, Cable News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 35% tariff on Canadian imports, effective August 1st, warning of even higher levies if Ottawa retaliates. Trump also threatened blanket tariffs of 15% to 20% on most other trading partners. Meanwhile, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has vowed retaliatory measures if the U.S. tariffs take effect as planned. Shurin reports.
In a letter released on his social media platform, Trump announced a 35% tariff on Canadian imports effective August 1st, citing the flow of fentanyl and Canada's previous retaliatory tariffs against Washington as key reasons. Trump warned that the tariff rate would increase further if Ottawa retaliates. In response, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney emphasized that his government will continue to defend Canadian workers and businesses in negotiations with the U.S. ahead of the deadline. The new 35% tariff marks an increase from the current 25% rate imposed on Canada, escalating the ongoing trade tensions and complicating Carney's efforts to secure a trade agreement with Washington. It remains unclear whether the tariffs will apply to all Canadian goods or only those outside the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. Trump has sent letters to 23 countries announcing tariff rates ranging from 20% to 50%. In an interview with NBC News, Trump revealed that the remaining trading partners currently without a trade deal with the U.S. will be charged a blanket tariff rate of 15% or 20%. Facing the highest tariff at 50% on its imports, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva stated that his country will seek negotiations, but if talks fail, he will invoke Brazil's reciprocity law to impose 50% tariffs in response. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The original Birkin bag, which set the template for probably the most coveted accessory in fashion history, has been bought for 8.6 million euros. Including fees, marking the most valuable handbag ever sold at auction. The hammer fell at a winning bid of 7 million euros. The black leather bag was made for British actress-singer Jane Birkin in 1985, after she spilled her belongings while sitting next to the boss of luxury fashion house Hermes on a flight, and complained about the size of Hermes bag she was carrying. The price beat the previous auction record for a handbag, which was $513,040 set in 2021 for an Hermes diamond and crocodile Kelly bag. Auctioneer Sotheby's did not identify the buyer. The 10-minute bidding war between 9 collectors ultimately ended in victory for a private collector from Japan. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 111 points. Top ATIC stocks of the day: Checker Fund was up 10 cents. Guotai Junan was up 8 cents. Meituan was up $1.40. Ping An was up $1.20. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy with a few showers, more showers with a few squally thunderstorms overnight to at first tomorrow. The minimum temperature will be about 27 degrees. Sunny intervals in the afternoon tomorrow with a maximum temperature of around 31 degrees. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.